August 1814. The United States is being invaded from all directions by the British Empire. Their war to liberate Canada has spiraled out of control. Defeat after defeat. Victorious in the Napoleonic Wars, Britain has now turned its full might on America. Their wrath will fall on Washington. The British fleet, 50 warships carrying 4,000 battle-hardened veterans, arrives in the Chesapeake Bay. Their main target is Baltimore, a rich commercial center and base of operations for the Americans. Just south of the city is the new capital, Washington. The White House, Capitol, and many other key buildings have been under construction here for more than 20 years. Since 1800, both the President and Congress have resided in Washington, as they do even now, with British troops approaching. On August 19th, British forces land at Benedict, just 30 miles south of Washington. They march north with 4,000 men. American forces are far larger, but split between defending Washington and Baltimore. Worse, apart from a few hundred regulars, they are all militia of poor quality and discipline. On August 24th, behind a river at Bladensburg, 7,000 of these men gather to stop the British advance. It is a disaster. Supported by a flank column and Congreve rockets, 1,500 British regulars charge across the bridge. American order, courage, and discipline melt away as the second line is overrun, easier than the first. A desperate countercharge by American Marines briefly halts the British advance. But it is not enough. The U.S. Army is totally scattered. British suffer just 250 casualties, and now nothing stands in their way. Washington is in utter chaos. Civilians, militia, and congressmen alike take what they can and flee west. Wagons clog the streets. President James Madison makes for Brookville, accompanied by the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and many other documents, not least among them, the positions of all American military units, and George Washington's personal correspondence. Among the few who keep their cool that day is Dolly Madison, the president's wife. She stays until the last possible moment, overseeing the removal of a full-length portrait of George Washington, which hangs in the Capitol to this day. Later that night, British troops enter the city. The Union Jack is raised on Capitol Hill. At this time, the Capitol Rotunda is not built yet, but the House and Senate chambers are. British troops use artwork on the walls to light bonfires and burn them to the ground. The Treasury building is also set ablaze. So too the Library of Congress, containing thousands of precious books and documents. As the British troops march through the streets of Washington, they reassure civilians that their private property will not be harmed. The White House isn't so lucky. British troops enter the president's home to find a state dinner untouched. They toast, "To peace with America and down with Madison." Then, after ransacking the building, the White House is burned. Later that evening, a tremendous storm rolls over the capital, extinguishing the flames. By morning, Washington is a ghost town. It has little strategic value, so the British abandon it and make for Baltimore. But their situation is more precarious than it seems. They are still outnumbered, and the Americans have recovered from their initial shock. The British land outside the city and sweep aside an American force at North Point. But probing attacks reveal Baltimore is too well defended for a direct assault. The British are running out of time. Their troops are needed elsewhere. So they decide on one final attack on Fort McHenry, which commands the entrance to the harbor. If it can be taken, the city will fall. On September 13th, 19 Royal Navy ships open a bombardment. More than 1,500 rockets, bombs, and shells rain down on the fort throughout the night. By dawn, it is clear that the defenses have held. The fort will not fall. The following day, the British force pulls back, disappearing into the ocean, en route to another target. While they succeeded in battle and took the capital of the United States, the expedition was ultimately little more than a superficial victory for the British, with limited strategic consequence. But the traumatic events of the campaign remain etched in American national memory to this day. Francis Scott Key, a resident of Washington and eyewitness to the siege of Fort McHenry, was so moved by what he saw that he scratched out a poem the morning after the bombardment. He called it Defense of Fort McHenry. Today, it has another name.